What is going on? And welcome back to the Behind the Cage Door podcast. Today's episode, we actually have a repeat guest, Gabe, the Freight Train Rednose. He's got two belts in the amateur ranks, and he has an 100% finish rate. This guy is a can't miss prospect, soon to turn pro, and you definitely want to get to know him now before it's too late. But before we get into the episode, today's episode, as always, is sponsored by Cold Water Plasma and the guys over at Good State Health. I actually got one of these little guys right here. Now, this is the original flavor. There's a whole bunch of new flavors that just got released. I'm going to have the link down below, so make sure you go click and check out the awesome products they've got there. I'm telling you, this is some good, clean energy, no caffeine. It's going to be the best alternative that you can have, and it's perfect for working out, whatever you need. So go ahead, give it a check out down below right now for limited time. Jake 45% off that first order. So make sure you take advantage of that. And if you're checking this video out in the future, Jake 15 is going to be the code. Check out those products. That's going to give you 15% off. The guys at Cold Water Plasma do a great job. Follow them as well. I'll have everything linked below. But before it is too late, let's get into the episode. Thank you for watching. What is going on? We're back with Gabe, the Freight Train Rednose. Gabe, you just came off a huge win. I know you're feeling good, but how are we feeling today?
Feeling good, man. Feeling great. Blessed to be here. Just want to say thank you for having me on the show again, man.
Dude, it's awesome to have you back. You're actually the first guy we've done two interviews with, so it's great to have you back on the show, allow some more people to hear your story, and allow everybody to really get to know the man who is now not just got one belt, has two belts. You won that Cruiserweight belt, the California state title at Hendos Fight Night. What was that, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, pretty recently? How you feeling after that?
Feeling pretty good. Just looking forward to excited what's next. Always looking forward to the next chapter, the next fight. Celebrate the victory, but back to work, nose to the grindstone, getting ready for what's next.
Oh yeah, and over on your Instagram, I saw some great pictures post-win. A dope picture of you with the belt in front of a freight train. I've seen you with your kids in the gym. I mean, it seems like you really you got that belt, you enjoyed it, and you turned it right back around. Got in the gym, and we're ready to go again. I mean, is that really how it's been for you since that win?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find these fights, get someone who can, get in there and test me some and get as much amateur fights as I can up under my belt and looking to go pro very, very soon.
And that pro debut can't come any sooner. I'm sure you're really excited for those paychecks to start coming in. But I know the amateur career, and that's something that we talked about the last time we spoke. Quick plug out. Make sure you go check that video. I'll link it down below. But you talked about it a lot. I mean, you're on the grind. You want to get that amateur experience. I mean, for you, what does it really mean to have those two belts? And now it sounds like you're going and you want to go defend it.
Yeah, that California state title is a really prestigious belt to win. It's basically like the most prestigious belt you can win at the amateur level in the United States. Um, like there's levels of competition, there's good competitors everywhere, but like if you really want to test yourself, you have to go to the West Coast because that's like the mecca of all MMA. Southern California, that's where like majority, like if you look at the UFC roster, majority of fighters that, make the roster are from, Southern California area. So there's top level guys there who I know that, should be able to test me before I make that jump. So those are the type of fights that I'm really looking for right now is guys who can really test me and, get me prepared for that next level.
Yes, sir. And you've been fighting the top line guys. I mean, all up and down your record from your IMMAF fights and to all your other amateur fights. I mean, you've really been fighting at a high level of competition. And your last opponent, he was 6-0. And I mean, he was a very talented guy. And you went in there and you kept your 100% finish rate intact. You won by Kimura, which is not an easy submission to get in MMA. I mean, just talk specifically about that fight and what that meant to you.
When they threw me his name, I looked him up and I saw that he was ranked number one at light heavyweight and heavyweight in a couple different states, a couple different regions. So that immediately intrigued me right off the bat. And I said, sure, let's do it. We ended up meeting out there and I'll give it to him, bro. He was pretty tough for sure. Like that was my first time ever making it into the second round in my career. Which, you know, I got to a lot of dominant positions in the first round. I cracked him really good with the jab, dropped him. I smelled blood in the water, and I just didn't keep my composure. Um, Shoulda, coulda, woulda. A lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but that's why I'm in there, testing myself against these guys so I can get comfortable as I can. Um, Went to the second round with this guy. I was trying to bait him into a couple different traps that I was setting, but he ended up pushing me against the cage, and I just got to that Kimura grip. And as soon as I cut that angle, I knew that it was over. He was tough, though, man. It took a long time to get him to tap, and I was giving him multiple opportunities, to try to get himself out of there because I know reconstructive shoulder surgery isn't fun, and that's probably where he's headed,
And
unfortunately.
yeah, it's unfortunate. You never want anybody to get injured, but you got to do what you got to do. And you're climbing the ladder. I mean, shout out to Trey Cusack. We wish him the best.
For
And
sure.
I think for you, I think getting out of the first round, I mean, it might be new to you in MMA, but you come from a wrestling background. You spend a lot of time on the mats. I mean, you've been in MMA for what, 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So you've been doing this for quite a while now. So what do you think getting out of the first round really is for you? Because I feel like that's some experience that is going to go a long way.
For sure. Which I don't mind it. I'm for sure willing and ready to test my gas tank whenever that time comes. I just really wanted to make it a point throughout my amateur career. I wanted to, keep my 100% finish rate. I feel like as on a resume, if you can, finish all of your opponents leading up to, your professional debut, that's just something like has been a goal of mine, and I really want to try to keep intact. But you're right. My coach is the same way. We're talking about getting the toughest opponent we can find and then going off 3 rounds with them on purpose, so we can for sure know that, 15 minutes is easy and ready to go. So, my next fight might be win by decision. We'll see.
Hey, we'll see. And I know you've got a big bag of tricks. You've been working with some great guys. We talked about it a little bit last time, but let's go shout out some of your coaches. Joe Daddy Stevenson, a legend in the game. You've trained with Rafael Lavada, another legend in the game. I mean, and you go further down, you've been training with some big name guys. You've trained with John Jones, Dominic Reyes, a whole lot of guys. I mean, do you think a lot of that experience, really helped you? And maybe just talk me through how that prepared you to go into this fight and those going forward.
For sure. If you can get to where, you make it normal practicing with those guys at that level, typically most guys that I will be fighting here on the regional scene aren't going to be able to match that level. So if I can get to where, I'm used to training with guys like that, used to, working with guys who can do the things they do on the level that they do it, that's only going to progress me further in my career. So, what the saying is, iron sharpens iron. And, those guys definitely make me better in all aspects. So I'm really thankful for them. And, I just look forward to our future fight camps together and just to keep growing, keep pushing each other to be the best we can be.
Absolutely. And I really love that, you said it earlier, it's very important to you, keep that finish rate intact. And, you've gone and you've done it time after time after time, and you're willing to risk it and put yourself in that situation where you need to prove yourself. And I think that's something that's really amazing. And I want to come back to your coaches, but one thing that I love about you is your love for your kids. And I've seen them in videos training with you. So for you, like, well, what does it mean to just show them, this path of resilience and hard work? Because you're not able to do this full time, I know. So you really are on the grind constantly. So what does it mean to you to, give them this example and have them along the way and be a part of your journey?
Yeah, they're probably my biggest motivation, just because they don't live a bad life now by any means, but, I want to give them way more than what I can offer right now. And through fighting, I think financially that's going to be the best route for me to go. Um, and that's just what I think about. That's what's constantly on my mind. And, one day I want to look into their bank accounts that I've been building and know that, they're going to be okay whenever I'm gone. And, that's just the goal. And that's just what pushes me to do what I do every single day. I've been getting them in the gym. My daughter started jujitsu with me. They can't start till they're 4 years old. So she recently started a few weeks ago. I'm just trying to build this life for them. And as they grow up, I just want this to be the normal, like going to jiu-jitsu, going to the gym, working out all the time, being outside sweating, just working hard, giving it your all. I just want that to be, like what's normal to them. So I'm really trying my hardest to lead by example.
Absolutely. And I think that MMA lifestyle is something that, can go a long way. It's something that shows you about hard work, determination, grit. And I think those are things that, any parent wants to instill in their child. So I love the fact that that's something that's important to you. And I think that relationship that you're going to be able to develop them, not just in the house, but also on the mats, it's going to go a long way and it's going to provide them with some great experiences. And going back to you and your coaches, I mean, you've been rolling around on these mats with some great influences, some great mentors that are helping show you the way, just like you're showing the way to your kids. I mean, for you, what's that relationship like between you, your coaches, your teammates, and how does that benefit you and how important is that?
Leading up into like a few years ago, I didn't really have a coach or a team. I just was training out of my garage. And I think we talked about in the last interview. I met Joe at just one of these fights. I got called from Northwest Fighting Alliance over in Arkansas. He said, "Hey, I have an undefeated wrestler out here. No one wants to fight him. If you fight him on 2-week notice, we'll make it for a belt." Now is my first time fighting at 205, and it just so happened that Joe was a special guest commentator there. So that's how he saw me fight, and he came up and talked to me afterwards, and then that's how we got introduced to each other. So Joe and I became, very close after that, and I went out to California, trained with him leading up to the Pan Ams, and I've considered him my head coach since. We talk almost every single day. We call each other very often. I just know how genuine Joe is and what kind of person and coach he is, and that's the type of person I want in my corner moving forward, because I know that he'll never lead me in the wrong direction. He's the one who introduced me to Lovato here in Oklahoma City, and I've been training with Lovato at his gym for like the past year and a half, and it's been great. I go to a lot of the morning classes. I got to give my guys some love there, and they for sure put the work in with me, and lots and lots of rounds before we even leave to go to our day jobs. We're up very bright and early, and it means a lot for them to be in there grinding with me.
And I know a lot of these guys, they probably also they're doing that 9 to 5, working hard, and MMA is something that it might be on the side, but it's always on the forefront of their mind, just like you. So take me through a day in the life of Gabe Rednose. How are you able to prepare yourself for these wars that you're going into?
Yeah, it's a little tough, man. I'm a big family man, so I want to be home in the evenings whenever my daughter gets out of school and we get off work and everything. So I really try to utilize like getting everything done as fast and as quick as I can, so I don't have to be away from my family that long. So I'll wake up at 4:30, 4:45 every day in the morning, and I'll drive an hour to Lovato's, and I'll get my jiu-jitsu and MMA work in before I go to work. Then I'll drive 45 minutes to my job. I'll work my job. Sometimes I go to sparring sessions at noon on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Um, and then from there I'll go right back to Kingfisher, which is another 25 minutes. So it's like I'm making a big triangle. Go back to Kingfisher, probably 25-minute drive, and then I immediately go inside, change, go straight to the gym and get my strength and conditioning done so I can get back home and cook dinner for my kids and et cetera, all that.
And that's a crazy day. I mean, the miles you're putting on your car.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you love that car though.
Yeah, it's a truck and it's about $90 to fill up, and I'm filling up like 3 times a week.
Oh my God. But that shows the dedication, the commitment that you have, and it shows how serious you are. And earlier we talked about it. It sounds like one more amateur fight is the goal before we're going pro. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm getting a lot of different professional offers thrown at me, so I'm just trying to sit, and maybe take the rest of the year and see what all offers come in, who's going to offer me the most money as my, starting out, and who I could see like a real future with and grow with. Um, we're looking at multiple different promotions right now, and we've talked to multiple different people. Um, probably, so I was supposed to actually fight September 28th, which is next weekend. Um, my opponent dropped out. We had someone locked in. He ended up dropping out, of course, and so they said that they're going to try to push it back to 10/21 to give him another month to try to find me an opponent. They said that they're going to try to, you know, get someone in there somehow. For my last amateur, I'd love to get established with this said promotion. become the amateur champion, then maybe sign a pro contract with them afterwards. Maybe we'll see. Nothing set in stone. Just listening to my coaches, uh, following God's direction, and chipping away notes to the grindstone. And whenever it's time, I feel like I'll know, and I'll find a new home to where a new promotion to where I can call home with my professional career.
Absolutely. And, like we said earlier, you're trying to climb up that ladder. And we talked about it a lot in the first interview. You're doing a lot of the right things. You're putting yourself out there. You're grinding and working every single day for these goals. So for you, when you get to that professional debut, like, how excited are you? Like, what are those emotions that you're expecting to have going into that first fight?
I'm excited about it, but at the end of the day, it's just business. So, of course, I'm happy and I'm proud of what all I've done in my amateur career. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's just business, and I'm not here to, have fun. Really, I'm here to get in, get out, get the job done, and get back home to my kids. So, you know, I'm excited and I'm looking forward to it, but it's still a job, and I'm still working every day to become the best version of myself.
For sure. And I mean, we've mentioned it, that 100% finishing rate, it's been there, and you've kept it intact, and you don't get paid by the hour. So being able to go in there, finish it, be dominant, it's something that's very important, not just as an amateur, but as a pro, and just in every phase of MMA. So one thing I really want to know from you is that mindset. Like, you're a nice guy, you're humble, you're a family man. I mean, how do you just get into that mindset and say, I'm coming to kill?
That's what I told myself, and that's what I had to tell myself going into this last fight, because he's a family man too. He has kids of his own. He busts his ass every day just like I do. We're both showing up, wanting the same goal, but at the end of the day, I had to ask myself, this is what it comes down to: whose kids are going to eat, his or mine? And that's just what I have to put in my head, and that's what I'm going to continue to put in my head. And I feel like that will be enough fuel for me to continue getting the job done.
Absolutely. And I think another thing that's important to being able to maintain that mindset is, having some balance in your life. And we've talked a lot of business. So, what do you do in your free time? What really helps you, stay in that Zen mode where you can really focus and lock in?
I just I don't really have a real exciting life, man. I'll train, I'll go to work, and I'll come home, and we'll go to the park, we'll go to the dog park. We like going on walks. We like watching movies, just stuff like that. But I mean, really, outside of that, we don't do like a whole lot. We're just usually, just spending time together. Whatever we're doing, typically we're spending that time together. So, as long as I'm with them and they're on my side, it doesn't really matter what we're doing. We're just, enjoying it, watching them grow up, and waiting for the next step.
And that's wonderful. I mean, just being able to spend that time with your family, I'm sure it means so much to you. I know for a fact it's going to mean a lot to your kids. They're going to carry that the rest of their life. And I think for you, being able to bring back the riches, show those belts to your kids. I mean, I'm sure for you that's something that means so much. So I really want to just, I want a fan to be able to know Gabe Rednose, the family man, the guy that goes in there and has to tell himself to kill. You know, what what does it take for you? Because you train all these days, you work so hard, you've gotten these experiences. What would you say is the key to being able to do all those things and put yourself in a position for success?
I mean, you just got to be willing. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, you have to be willing to make those sacrifices. You have to be willing to put in the extra time. You have to be willing to, show up to practice when you don't want to. You got to be willing to get up in the morning at 4:30 every single morning. You got to be willing to, put yourself in that fire. And even on the days you don't want to get your ass up, and make yourself do it anyway. So I would just say you'd have to be willing, willing to go that extra step and get all of it done.
And I love that because I really think that's with anything in life. You have to be willing to, step in and face your fears and, maybe do something that's hard or unnormal or not normal to you to really have that success. So I think your story is one that anybody can relate to, not just someone that is an MMA fan or into MMA. Anybody can relate to that because life isn't easy. You just got to be willing to take those chances. So I think this is a perfect time for you to shout out your social media to see if anybody's willing to go on that journey with you and see what Gabe the Freight Train Rednose has in the future.
Yes, sir. My Instagram is gred58. And then my regular Facebook page is Gabe Rednose, and then my fight page is Gabe the Freight Train Rednose on Facebook.
And the freight train, that's been a nickname that's stuck since the beginning. I don't think it's going to leave anytime soon because we're coming, baby. I know how it
Yes,
is.
sir.
I hope that we're able to get you a matchup in just a month from now. But before we get out of here, I got a question for you. And I think it's very, very complicated, but it's also so simple at the same time. So let's see what you can come up with it. But I just want to ask, can we name one word that describes Gabe the Freight Train Rednose?
I would say violent.
I would not want to be someone about to step in the octagon with you after hearing that answer right there.
I'm ready to put on a show, man. I can't wait to get my hands on the next guy that I face, inside the cage. Days are ticking down, so whoever signs the contract, it's going to be a really bad day for them.
Ooh, and we're all looking forward to seeing that. Everybody, make sure you stay tuned for any fight announcements coming soon, amateur or pro. Gabe is going to be on the track to the top. Ooh, getting stumbled up here. But Gabe, it's been a pleasure talking to you again. I really am looking forward to what you got going on next. So I'd like to give you the floor if you want to shout out anybody or have any special thank yous before we get on out of here.
Yes, sir. I just want to say thank you to you yourself, for allowing me to come on here and giving me a great platform to, help get my name out there. It means a lot to me, and I love all your content. I follow you, and I watch all your stuff. You do a good job, brother.
I really appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Just shout out to my team, my family, my friends, all my supporters. Couldn't do it without you guys. Can't wait for the next one.
Absolutely. So make sure you're going down below, liking this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, follow Gabe, and make sure you stay tuned because you're not going to want to miss the next violent fight that Gabe the Freight Train Rednose is in. Everybody, thank you for watching. We're out of here.